Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Peter Varela. I'm the principal of this great high school, South Brunswick High School, and I'm very excited to be with you tonight. A little different again, doing everything virtually versus in person, but we go back and forth about this type of a presentation, and we received a lot of positive feedback from parents a number of years ago. I guess stemming from COVID, right? You hate to use that word, but parents being able to jump on from their homes or from wherever they are and be able to participate in a program like this without having to actually come to the high school with all the responsibilities that they're balancing. So I have my leadership team online with you, and I'll share my screen in a minute. But before we go any further, I'd like them to go around and introduce themselves. I'd ask each person to share, of course, your name, what you do, and maybe how many years in education you have. So I'm going to start with my top left, Mr. Ruman.
Hi, my name's Mr. Jeffrey Ruman. I am the assistant principal for academic leadership at the high school. I've been in education for 18 years, 17 of which have been at South Brunswick High School.
Ms. Donato.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yoshi Donato. I'm the assistant principal for Team A through H and the James Kimple Center for Alternative Learning, alternative education, and I've been in education for 25 years.
Thank you. Mr. Knapp.
Good evening. My name's Ed Knapp. I'm the director of athletics. I'm also the K to 12 phys ed and health supervisor. I've been in education it's about 20 years, although I don't add very well. And this is my first year at South Brunswick High School.
Thank you. Ms. Morris.
Hi, my name is Lauren Morris. I'm the activities coordinator at the high school. I've been in education for 23 years, all at South Brunswick High School.
Thank you. Ms. Finkelstein.
Hi everyone, I'm Amy Finkelstein. I'm the counseling supervisor for K to 12. I've been in education for about 28 years.
Thank you. Ms. Duco Sweeney.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nancy Duco Sweeney, and I'm the assistant principal for team PC through Z. Um, I have been in education, I think this is my 32nd year, and 30 of them have been right here at South Brunswick High School.
Awesome. Mr. Brack.
Hi, everyone. I'm the English Language Arts supervisor at the high school, and this is my 17th year in education.
Awesome. Mr. Sears.
Good evening, parents. Rob Sears here, K-12 music supervisor. This is my 25th year in education.
Awesome. Ms. Baroud. Unmute yourself.
Sorry about that, everyone. Hello, I'm Kristen Brood. It's very nice to meet everyone. I am currently the interim supervisor at South Brunswick High School. I have been in education for 13 years, and this is my third school year at South Brunswick.
Awesome. Mr. Harding?
Hi, everyone. I'm John Harding. I'm the chairperson of Health and PE Department. This is my 34th year in education and my 33rd straight at South Brunswick.
Nice. Dr. Medina?
Hi, everyone. My name is Jack Medina. I'm the social studies supervisor at the high school, and this is my 16th year in education.
Thank you. Ms. Brzezowski?
Hi, my name is Carolina Brzezowski, and I am the math supervisor for the high school, 9th through 12th grade. I come from Newark. This is my 13th year and my first year at South Brunswick, and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Dr. Rajagopal?
Hi, my name is Aparna Rajagopal, and I'm the STEM supervisor for grade 6 through 12, and I oversee robotics and science at the high school. This is my 24th year in secondary education, all of them at South Brunswick. Welcome.
Awesome. Mr. Caravano?
Good evening, student and parents. My name is Manny Caravano. I'm the assistant principal for students with the last name I through PB. I have been in education for almost 20 years, and I started South Brunswick in 2012.
Awesome. Mr. Decker?
Hey, parents. My name is Tom Decker. I am the supervisor of world languages and ESL for the district. This is my 26th year in education. I've been in South Brunswick since 2006.
Awesome. Mr. Hunt?
Hello, I'm Douglas Hunt, Dean of Students for teams PZ through Z. This is my 24th year in South Brunswick, 29th altogether.
Great. Dr. Negerval?
Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Justin Negraval. I'm the Department Chair for Social Studies. 21 years in education, and all of them at South Brunswick.
Mr. Persichetti?
Hi, I'm Joe Persichetti, Technology Coordinator at South Brunswick High School. Coming from a career in technology, this is my second year in education.
Awesome. Ms. Marcella?
Hi, I'm Anastasia Marcella. I am one of 10 school counselors at the high school. I am also the anti-bullying specialist at the high school, and I've been in education for 21 years, all of them at South Brunswick High School.
Great. Mr. Sweeney?
Hi, everyone. My name is Tim Sweeney. I'm the supervisor of art, business, family, consumer science, and tech ed at the high school. This is my 26th year in education. 25 of them have been at South Brunswick.
Great. Ms. Sullivan?
Hi, welcome. My name is Lori Sullivan. I'm Dean of Students for I through PB. I've been at South Brunswick High School for 29 years now.
Great. Ms. Spencer?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Keisha Spencer. I've been at the high school for 23 years, 25 in education, and I'm the Dean of Students for students with the last name A through H.
Great. Did I miss anyone? Okay. And again, Peter Varela, principal. I've been in education for 31 years, and I have been fortunate to be the principal of South Brunswick High School for the last 14. So this is a great team, parents. Everything that you would need, your kids would need. The faces on here are the support system here. Everything gets started with our leadership team. So while I start to share my screen, Mr. Rumi, can you share the format as far as the Q&A and how parents can jump on and get some responses?
Sure. So you should see at the bottom of your screen, kind of bottom center, a little button that says Q&A. This allows you to ask us a question, and then we will do our best to answer it. We'll either type out an answer, or if we're getting a lot of the same questions, we will choose, click the button that says we'll answer this question live. Either because I know it's going to be in the presentation already, or just to have a little bit of interaction with you all. So feel free to put in any questions you have as we go along, and we'll answer them to the best of our ability. We're also going to take that Q&A and turn that into an FAQ that we'll release along with the recording of this video, just so that the questions that we've gotten frequently will be easily shared out with everyone.
Yeah, we realize that not everyone can attend a night like this. So if you have any neighbors or friends that couldn't make it, please share with them what our plans are with getting this information out to you. So here's tonight's agenda. We believe we can do it in 60 to 70 minutes or so. You've met us. And now I'd like to ask Ms. Donato to share a little bit about our structure as far as administrative support with students.
Again, good evening, everyone. On the screen, you'll see our administrative structure at the high school. We currently have about 2,600 students, and a few years ago, we divided our student body up by this structure, by last name. So I am team A through H, and on my team, I have a student assistance counselor, there's a dean, there's a secretary. In my office, there's an attendance secretary, and I also collaborate with a set of counselors. So every team structure is built that way. So Mr. Caravano is the lead for last names I through PB, and Mrs. Duco Sweeney is PC through Z. And you can see right next to those letters are where we are located in the building. And by doing so, there's some benefits because we get to stay with your students and mentor and support them for all 4 years. So we get to know them through their interests, their accomplishments, and we collaborate with the teams you see on the screen. throughout their journey, academically, socially, emotionally, and sometimes it's cheering them on at the football or basketball game. So we really get to know them and the families in a very intimate way.
Thank you, Mr. Donato.
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Rowe, I just want to make sure we're recording, correct?
Yes, sir. We are recording.
Thank you. Ms. Dugo Sweeney?
Okay, so in addition to what Mrs. Donato said about our administrators that are supporting students, your students are also supported by so many other people in our school. So as large as she pointed out that our school is, 25 to 2,600 students, they are not alone. Their teachers, of course, are supporting them, but there are also department supervisors who you can see on this Zoom, counselors or case managers, student assistance counselors. We also have a Bridge Center, which are school-based youth counselors coming to us from Rutgers. And then, of course, we have nurses, secretaries. We want your children to get involved. We want all students to get involved. So they would have club advisors or coaches. And then they have class advisors per grade level. So they are never alone. We want them to feel supported, and we want you to feel supported. So all these people are also here to support you, their parents.
Thank you, Ms. Dugo Sweeney. Mr. Caravano?
Yes, to be a Viking is more than just to be successful academically or athletically. We take pride in our core values. You'll see them at the bottom of the screen. It talks about the idea is more just about being a great citizen. What we expect of kids is to work through hard moments and time with support from us and from families. But the things you see on the screen are the little things that everyone can do to make South Brunswick High School a better place. We initiated this year a Student of the Month. We pick one child per grade level per team. So that's 12 students every month. And we focus our recognition around these type of character traits, things that are go above and beyond just being a normal human, but being a great human, a caring human. And that's what it means to be a Viking.
Thank you. Here are two quotes that I like to share with parents and kids, and to me it strikes me when I read them. Right, the first one talks about just learning, coming in with the right attitude. We know that your kids are great, but we want them to take risks. We want them to challenge themselves. We want them to be, take part in a rigorous curriculum. So these are two quotes that I sort of share and I sort of focus from time to time back, because the second one is really important when Mr. Caravano and others talk about character and character education and social emotional learning. It's far more important that after the 4 years you walk out a better person, right? Our K through 8 schools are great partners with us, and they do a great job setting you up for success at the high school. And we hope to do the same so that when you walk out, you are better than when you walked in. So I always reference our code of conduct as something that you can find on our website. We're not going to go over it tonight, but in the future, we may have some time to do that. But for tonight, I just wanted to share, if you go to our high school website, it's chock full of information. Spend some time, get lost in it, get to all the links. And one of the things you should know as far as we have a grade 6 to 12 code of conduct that is restorative in nature. I just wanted to share that. Do we have any questions that anyone, as far as behind the scenes, Mr. Ruman or Ms. Finkelstein, you want to share?
So far, it's just been a lot of nice to meet you. Thanks for introducing yourselves. We had one question about some scheduling stuff, and I shared that we were going to be getting into how that's going to work in our presentation. So
awesome. Thank you so much. Parents, again, if you have any questions, you can put them into the Q&A, and our great team here online with us tonight will answer them, and periodically we'll stop and take a pause. So we're going to transition now to Ms. Finkelstein and some guidance aspects.
Okay, so I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the type of support that we have at the high school. A lot of it is similar to what you would see at the middles, and some of it's a little bit different. So like the middles, we do have a HAP block, but like we explained when we came out to do our 8th grade presentations, not every freshman is going to choose to take a HAP. We'll talk about that a little bit more later and how that looks. And your kids were wonderful, great listeners when we talked about the difference between taking a HAP or choosing to take either a music or a fine art elective. Again, we'll get into that a little later and it will be shared out with all of the materials that you'll be getting. But we do have the option for freshmen of having a 90-minute HAP period. That would be a full block every other day where students can take that time to get work done, go get extra help. We have math and English help centers open every block of the day with certified teachers available to help your student. So if they have homework and they're a little bit confused or need help for an upcoming test, they can go to the Math or English Help Center. That's open to any student in the building during their HAP time or during their lunch if they don't have a HAP to get some extra help. Having a HAP is also great if you're really, really involved in extracurricular activities and you need help budgeting your time. It's a good way to get your work done before you get home. And then the day you have your afternoon activities. And then when you're home, you're home. We have the Homework Help Center available after school 3 days a week. You can then either take the late bus, some kids get picked up, and kids are welcome to go there, all free tutoring. There are teachers and also older students there to help out, or some of them just want a quiet place to get homework done or get on a computer because when they get home, again, they don't want to come home and do more work. So this is a great way to go and get work done still at the school. The Bridge Center, just like they've had in middle, we have our Bridge program at the high school. So we have clinicians through Rutgers UBHC, University Behavioral Health, that can work with students if they need a more consistent therapist. It's sort of like having an outside therapy program, but in the high school. So lots of confidentiality. Parents would need to give consent if your child is not old enough to give consent for themselves. And they also are there to do a lot of great prevention activities during lunches and after school. During the day, if your student is kind of shy about being in the cafeteria or overwhelmed, they offer a place to go during lunch to kind of sit on a beanbag, have lunch, and it's guided by some of their counselors. So nice place to go. We have a peer leadership program at the high school. So for each group, there are 2 trained senior peer leaders. They help work with freshmen, kind of talking about how to acclimate to the high school. So that's a wonderful program. As kids get older, they can apply to be a peer leader. As Ms. Marcella said, we have 10 guidance counselors at the high school. Your counselor will have your child all 4 years. And if your child has a special education case manager, they get both. We have 3 student assistance counselors who focus more on mental health as well as drug and alcohol prevention and support. So if your child needs more checking in or you're concerned about drugs, alcohol, or just looking for some information, they are great to reach out to. And we have 4 nurses in the building. So our freshman nurse will follow your student all 4 years. So that information will all be coming out to you. It's a lot. So we encourage you just not to get overwhelmed. And when you have questions, always reaching out to your counselor, your case manager, or one of your administrators.
Thank you, Ms. Finkelstein. We're at almost 400 attendees, so a really good show, and thank you, parents. I'd like to now transition to a little about what your ninth grader will face as far as what a typical day looks like. We'll start to get into some scheduling aspects of this presentation. So, Mr. Ruman.
I'm ready to go, sir. Real quick before I start mine, I know there's one question Miss Marcel is typing the answer into right now, but it's about peer. So those peer groups are done through your child's PE class. So students will be in that program with upperclassmen directly through their physical education class, right? It's not something special that you have to select or register for separately. It's all done through that period. So what we have here for you is a kind of what we would call a typical schedule for a ninth grade student. So as you can see, we run an alternating A-B schedule at the high school. So every other day we're switching whether we're an A day or a B day. And during each day, we have 4 blocks. So our blocks currently are 85 minutes long. And that's how long a student will be in each class. You'll notice that each day at the end of block 1, attached to the block is what we call our home base period. So this is 10 minutes where we show announcements on VTN, Viking Television Network. Each class streams them, and those are just important announcements. Our clubs put things out there, student activities, athletics. There's all kinds of good information on there for our students. So it's just 10 minutes each day that we take a break, do the Pledge of Allegiance, and get some important information out to students. And then during third block, you'll notice that there are actually 3 lunches that we run at the high school. We call them A, B, and C lunch. And your students will be in one of those lunches based off of what class they're in. So each class will be assigned an A, B, or C lunch, and those students in that class will take it all at the same time. So, for example, on A day here, it looks like this student has physical and earth science. So all of those students will report directly to lunch for A lunch right after second block. And then 30 minutes in, approximately 11:20, the bell will ring, and those students will then report to 85 minutes of physical and earth science. Right? If you look at the B day schedule, that lunch for American Experiment class is C lunch. So those students would report directly to third block at 10:50. They would have their entire class period for 85 minutes, and then they would go to lunch for the last 30 minutes of that time frame. B lunch is one where you have some class time, then you break and go to lunch, and then you come back and have the second half of your class. But students are doing it based off of the class they're in with their teachers at the same time. And so I think, Mr. Verl, I think we can go to the next slide. So this is ultimately what the Genesis is going to look like, and we're going to get into a little bit more as to what information you're going to be providing us in order to create this schedule, what information we're going to be using to help fill in some of these classes, and then when you're going to get to see this. We'll get into that in the presentation in the coming slides. But this is what it'll ultimately look like. Now, this is a lot more confusing, we think, than the previous slide. But this is how Genesis kind of puts it out there. So you'll see that there's the period. The second column is the period. So you're going to have multiple things for first, second, third, and fourth. You should see at least 2 things for each one because we have A days and B days. So if you scroll all the way over to the right, almost all the way over to the right, you'll see the days. And then in some cases, you'll have semester or quarter classes. So here, a really good example is physical education. So you can see that there are actually 4 lines that are for physical education and health. And if you look under the semester, you'll see this student has PE in quarter 1 and quarter 2, then their health class, which is adolescent issues in quarter 3, and then another quarter of PE in quarter 4. So this gets to be a little confusing. There is an option in Genesis, and we'll be sharing this with you and your students when it gets closer, to turn it into a block schedule format like the previous slide. It's a lot easier for students to see. We'll also encourage students that once this is published for them, and we'll get into those details later in the presentation. We encourage them to not take screenshots of this, to try, be sure they know how to log into their Genesis account, the student account, and access this information, because sometimes classes get switched around, even if it's not a different class. If we just have to switch whether you have a class second versus third block or something like that at the end of the summer, we want students to have accurate information. So encouraging them to know how to log into their Genesis account and access this information will be really important. And like I said, we'll share information about that when we get closer.
Can I jump in with one comment before you move to the next slide?
Sure.
I get this question about a million times every summer. So if your kid is next to you, lean in, and I want you to see how in third block it says Academic English 1, 3A, and then a few things down, it says Academic English 1, 3C. This does not mean that we messed up and gave your child 2 English classes. It's because the lunch breaks up the class. If you have B lunch, you go to English, you go to lunch, you go back to English. But it looks a little bit confusing and people think that we gave them too many classes. Not that we never mess up, but check that first because it's a really common misunderstanding when you look at your ninth grade schedule. So hopefully that will save some panicking when you see it.
And that's a good point. Everything is about communication. Any questions, your kids come in, they'll get their schedules, teachers, and the team, we're here to help. They just have to ask. And we have plenty of people in the hallways. They'll be walking around. Most of the kids, if they don't take advantage of our freshman orientation, which we'll talk about a little later, they're going to get lost. And then the best part of our back to school night or parent teacher conferences. And listen, we watch all the parents get lost. We have some staff members that still get lost in our building. So we're here to help. So no worries about that. Our next slide, Ms. Finkelstein is going to talk to because we're starting to get into some scheduling and we want to reassure everyone that, hey, listen, ninth grade, we're going to start in September, but don't worry. Like we have some safety nets in place. So Ms. Finkelstein, a little bit about this.
Okay. So we have asked all of your kids when we came out to present, the only thing that you guys are choosing, remember this, are your 21st century elective, where you get to pick 3 of your top priorities, and then you can choose to either go into a HAP or a finer performing arts elective. All of your academic classes are selected for you. So be really thoughtful about what you pick. If you change your mind, we can't change it over the summer. Let's say you come in September, you've given it a week, you absolutely cannot stand the elective that you picked. We will have forms, we'll share everything out with you guys. If you feel that you really want to try a different elective, we will have to look at what's available during that same block. We can't change your entire schedule around at that time, but there may be some little changes we can make. In terms of your level, let's say you're in honors English and you're feeling like it's just too hard and you've given it a little time, you have a month to lower the level. Not to go up a level because you're going to be placed into the highest level that would be appropriate for you. But if you're feeling that your academic levels are too difficult, too challenging, you'll let your counselor know. We have a form for that, and we will try the best we can to honor changes to levels within that first month. Moving forward over the next 4 years, you may have classes that you're in that we've had kids want to drop. Maybe they don't need them for toward their 125 credits. Wouldn't happen for freshmen, but after that, if you do have something that you want to withdraw from, if you withdraw before semester 3 starts, which for us will be in like a week or 2, you have to withdraw, you'll get a W on your transcript. Any later than that, it will be a penalty. So that will factor into your GPA. We've moved that pretty late, so it gives kids a chance to come out without it giving them a 0 factored in. But later on in the year, there will be a penalty for dropping that late. We'll send out all of the timelines and information as we get closer, so you'll have that. But just a thought to really, really consider what you want to take as your electives. It may be very difficult to change later on.
And Amy, continue with the graduation requirements.
Okay, so our graduation requirements, we need 125 credits to graduate. We have the New Jersey Student Learning Assessments that we take. For financial literacy, that is a required 2.5 credit course. We try to get all students to take a junior year or in the beginning of senior year. That gives them time that if they want to do senior society later in the year, that they can take advantage of that. They need 1 year of a visual or a performing art. So if they choose to take a finer performing art elective, that would meet that requirement. They don't have to. They have all 4 years to take that 5 credit course. So that could be Art 1, it could be a musical theater course, it could be any music or performing art that they choose to take. Okay, they must take a 21st century skills as a freshman. That's what we spent a lot of time talking about. With the 8th graders, they were given a list of about 15 options that they can pick from. And when we open scheduling, they'll be able to go in and prioritize what they want to take. But they have to take a 21st century during 9th grade. English, you need 5 credits of English each year. So English 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then there are different levels, but you always have to take an English. Social studies, we need 3 years of English for graduation. Some kids go on, they might continue to take an AP class or an elective that they're really interested in, but all freshmen take one of the levels of the American experiment. Sophomores, they take US history, and juniors take either global or AP world. Okay. For math, 3 years is required. 4 years tends to be preferred by colleges. So over the years, your child will work with their counselors and you guys to make sure that their 4-year plan makes the most sense for them. Science, again, 3 years is required, and 1 has to be a physical. So freshmen are all going to either take physical and earth science or physics. They have to take a bio and then an additional lab, which could be typically by the 3rd year may look like a chemistry lab. In the course booklet, you'll see even a graphic of a flowchart of what the different pathways in science could look like for you. So if that helps you to look at it visually, a lot of our departments put together a flowchart that you can look at. So if my child takes this as a freshman, what can they take the next few years is all in there. And then world language, we told your kids you have to take 2 years of the same language for graduation. So if they come in, they take French, they want to change to Spanish, they still need to take 2 years then. Whatever they're taking in 8th grade, they are moved into a 9th grade. Remind them that if they change their mind, they want to take a different language next year, they need to tell their current world language teacher. And a lot of colleges do look for, they prefer 3 years of language. Even though we require 2, they sometimes like to see 3. Some kids take advantage of it, not all do. Okay, and then PE and health, you need 5 credits every year. We plug that in. You don't have to take care of that in scheduling. All sophomores get driver's ed. We put it in order of their birthdays so that they're not turning 16, and then waiting many, many, many months and forget what to do when they get behind a wheel with you. We're thinking of you, parents, when we do that. Okay, I think
Thank
that's
you.
about it.
Yep.
Yep.
And I just want to make sure that parents understand what credits are, right? At the high school, we operate differently than the K-8 world. You have to earn credits in order to graduate from high school. And so on a block schedule, a full year course is every other day. That's the equivalent of 5 credits. Obviously, a semester, again, every other day, financial lit, some of our, electives, they get 2.5. We have some classes that meet every day. Like some of our APs that they would earn 10 credits if they meet every day. Physical education meets 3 quarters. It's 1.25 credits per quarter, so that's 3.75, and health is 1 quarter. And most importantly, and this is what some parents get upset, they're up in arms. First quarter, your son or daughter may earn, a B, a B plus, a C plus, whatever it is. It's not until the final grade at the end of the school year that counts as far as the transcript, right? So kids earn 4 quarters, they get semester grades, but it's a grade at the end of the year, once it's calculated, that goes on a transcript, and that's what determines what credits are earned. So I just want to make sure parents know that you must, in South Brunswick, graduate with 125 credits that was shared with you already and meet all the state requirements that are outlined. Everything is in the course booklet. And again, we'll get to the course booklet and the timelines in a minute, because guess what? Tomorrow, that opens up for our incoming freshman parents.
Mr. Varela, do we want to take 30 seconds just to talk about attendance and credits?
Sure, Mr. Caravan. Why don't you go ahead and do that?
Okay, parents, this is a really important topic. We, as a high school, are required to award students credit when they obviously pass the class, but it's also tied to seat time by the state. What that means is your child needs to be at school to receive the credit. Our school has done a really wonderful, really great work in the attendance category. We've increased our attendance and students being successful in this way by providing plans for students who are struggling with attendance. We have the child meet with the counselor. We communicate constantly with the parents. We have something called credit recovery, which is not something we want to do, but it affords the child time to make up some time if they're coming in danger of the graduation requirement for attendance in New Jersey. So it's we monitor it almost every 10 days of school. We sit down with our teams and we review everyone's attendance and we make sure that it's in line with the expectations and we support along the way. So if you have any questions about your attendance for your child, reach out to your assistant principal, the counselor next year. And we just encourage families, please try to avoid those long times away because those do factor into the time that we have students who miss. And that's important that we want your kid in school. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Caravano. All right, are there any questions in the Q&A that we want to share, Mr.
So
Roman?
there's been one question that's come up a couple times, and I think it actually it goes to the next slide that Mr. Sweeney's going to be talking about. So I'm going to let Mr. Sweeney do his thing, but I'm going to prompt him with, can you at the end, Mr. Sweeney, explain the choice that students will have after taking a 21st century course? Do they have to continue? If, for example, if a student selects architecture, do they have to take architecture their whole high school career, or are they welcome to switch over to other electives, and kind of how does that work? So just if you could touch on that at the end of your slide, I'd appreciate it.
Yep, definitely. No problem. All right. So you're hearing a lot about 21st century courses. And as Ms. Finkelstein said, it is a requirement, a graduation requirement through the state. But just to give you an idea of what the course is, what that means, that it's a 21st century course. So if you look at this list, we offer 15 different 21st century courses that freshmen get to choose from. You'll see they're in all different areas. What makes them a 21st century course is within that content or within that curriculum, we embed lessons on career readiness, life literacy, and some other key skills like critical thinking skills, digital literacy, technology literacy. Those types of lessons are embedded into the subject area of whatever 21st century course you select. So that's what makes it a 21st century course. Obviously, you'll still get whatever content goes with that field that you choose. But as an incoming freshman, you're going to have two choices when you schedule. One of your two choices is this 21st century elective. And like I said, there's 15 different classes you can choose from. It doesn't matter what you did in middle school. 7th and 8th grade has no impact on this choice. They're open to any freshman, any of these areas. Computer science does have a prerequisite on it of Algebra 1. But other than that course, everything else has no prerequisite and it's open to anyone. So the background coming into it doesn't matter. And as Mr. Ruman was saying, you have the choice as a freshman to explore, pick whatever you want to try. I suggest you don't pick something because your friends are taking it. This is an opportunity for you or your child to try something new. Pick an area that you think you might be interested in. And after your freshman year, when you go to schedule for your sophomore year, you can decide to do something completely different. You're not locked into anything by the choice you make this freshman year. All right, so your 21st century selection is just a course that you want to try as a freshman. If it's something that you really like and something you're interested in, you can move on to a higher level your sophomore year. If you take it your freshman year and say, I take, architecture as a freshman, I decide architecture is not for me. I can jump to music. I could jump to English. I could jump to a business course my sophomore year. You're not locked into any specific pathway. And I think it was mentioned earlier that we do have recommended pathways for some different things, depending what you take, that can help guide your choices as you move forward. But as a freshman, again, it's open to you. Try something new, try something that you might be interested in, and then you can always make the decision before your sophomore year how you want to go forward, if you want to continue in that path or try something new.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. All right, Mr. Persichetti, let's talk some scheduling.
Sure. So the parent portal will open up tomorrow, 4 p.m., and it will be open for the week from January 21st through January 28th. We'll close at 4 p.m. And what we're asking you to do is to go into the portal and select your two choices beginning tomorrow, 4 p.m. There is no rush. Scheduling will serve the best schedule that fits your students' placement and choices. So there is no rush to be the first, but you must select 3 21st century courses and indicate the priority: 1 first choice, second choice, and third choice. In the second class, you must select from one of the following HAP or music or freshman art classes. You must have Genesis access in the parent portal to register. And once course selections are made, students will not be able to make the changes to their choices after January 28th. During the week that the portal is open, until you press submit, you can go and revise your choices and change. But after January 28th, the changes will become part of the scheduling process.
Mr. Sears, is there anything you wanted to add to this slide?
Yeah, I would just jump in and say that for those of your children who are in the performing arts already in middle school and looking to continue, one of the options that you'll have to select here would be in the place of a HAP. You would select in that middle column one of the performing arts courses that are available. Once students, if they choose to continue in high school, which we definitely encourage them to do so, once they have registered and the portal closes, the high school gets those lists, and we will, in the spring, actually in about a month after the portal closes, we would be reaching out to those students who have registered for a performing arts course with an option in the performing ensembles and band, choir, and orchestra for an option of honors, which would be an audition. And the information would come directly from the high school music department only after you've registered for one of the courses that you see here.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sears. Joe?
And so just a recap, in terms of scheduling, your child's academic courses will be scheduled by your high school subject supervisors with input from the middle school staff. PE classes will be pre-scheduled along with health over the summer. So that is not something you'll be selecting. And students who wish to change their world language choice will need to contact your Crossroads teacher. So for instance, if you're currently in Spanish and you'd like to take French at the high school, you'll need to contact your world language middle school teacher.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Persichetti. Dr. Medina and Dr. Rajagopal, you want to talk a little bit about placement?
Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to talk about English and social studies. So in the middle school, primarily kids have heterogeneous courses, and then when they come to the level of the high school, freshman year, there's going to be a few different levels. The highest is the honors, and the honors typically has very high literacy demands. So kids have to read and write at a high level, at above grade level text. And so we are looking at a few different criteria. So we have a short constructed response, that's like a 1 to 2 paragraph argumentative paper. We have an extended constructed response where kids have to write more of that formal argumentative essay. We also look at the second iReady diagnostic, which is going to be this coming month in February. And then there is also a teacher checklist of performance and skills. So we have a committee that sort of determines the cutoff scores, and then we look at how our students do, and then we place them in their freshman year course. Come sophomore year, junior year, the number of options that are available to them goes up, and they'll be eligible to move into higher level courses. So it's fluid as far as the way our tracks run in English and social studies.
So as for math, you can see there are a number of courses that your students could be placed in. If a student is in Math 8 right now, they cannot take a summer course and skip algebra. Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 are courses which we consider extremely fundamental, so no student is allowed to skip those classes. So a student in Math 8 will be placed in Algebra 1. A student who's taking algebra now in 8th grade will be placed in either geometry or advanced geometry. And students who are now taking geometry will go to either advanced algebra 2 or honors algebra 2. The details about what grades they need for these courses is available on the course catalog, and I think that has been shared multiple times in the Q&A session. So the math course and the math grades are what will determine math placement. Similarly, for science, any student who's taking Math 8 now will be placed in Physical and Earth Science, which is an integrated science class, which does partly chemistry, partly physics through the lens of earth science. And anybody in algebra is placed in Physics 1. The kids in geometry could be in Physics 1, Honors Physics, or AP Physics 1, depending upon their grades. Again, what grades they need is available in the course catalog, and that link has been shared. I just want to emphasize that we do not use the middle school science grades to determine placement, because the middle school science courses are designed to give students a sampling of all science. They're not necessarily designed to prepare students for the high school. They teach students scientific habits. And please, I also have a word of caution. Please do not compare your child to anybody else. Like Dr. Medina said, there are plenty of opportunities as they progress through the school, progress through their 4 years, for them to take higher level classes, and it's not a linear pathway for science. So I am confident that we'll place everybody where they need to be, and they will get everything that they need to graduate. Thank you.
Thank you for those
One more
messages.
point about
Yeah.
and we only have trimester 1 grades at the middle school at the moment, so that's why we're not looking at grades as one of the placement criteria. We have assessments that contribute to grades, but we're not using that holistic grade as one of the measures. So I'm just being transparent about that.
Thank
Turn
you.
over to Mr. Varela.
Thank you. Mr. Sears?
Hi, parents. So this is a question that has come up so many times during orientations for incoming freshmen that we thought it needed its own slide. And that's, what if my child is currently in choir and in band, or choir and in orchestra, or choir and theater? They're in the musical, but they're also in choir. Is there a way for my child to continue doing both of those things in the performing arts? And the answer is yes. So we offer 2 courses that are 21st century within our department. We have mixed course in the 21st century, and we also have a theater arts in the 21st century. One of the choices you will make during this next week while the portal's open is you will pick a 21st century course. You'll pick 3 of those in a priority, and then on the other side, you'll pick either a HAP, or in place of the HAP, a music, or in place of the HAP, an art. So 1 course here, and then your top 3 choices for 21st century. If you want to do choir and band, you would simply pick the 21st century choir course, mixed course in 21st century, and then you would take band in place of the HAP, the help and access period. And it would happen the same way for all of the other courses. So let's say that your child right now is in choir and orchestra. You would take choir in the 21st century, and you would take orchestra in place of the HAP. You would make a selection of a performing art in place of the help and access period for your child's freshman year. And there's a lot of combinations that you can mix like this. And there you go. So you can do both.
That's good news. Thank you. Mr. Persichetti, give the parents what they want to hear here. Unmute yourself.
Thank you. So once you log on to the parent portal, beginning tomorrow, 4 p.m., you will see under the scheduling tab on the left side, a request tab. And that's the entry point to schedule the 2 choices that you'll select on behalf of your student. It will show you scheduling notes on the right side, so some reminders, and it will also include a link to the full instructions that appear on the website in addition. So these tabs will show, and they will not be available until tomorrow, 4 p.m., at which time they will become available.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Persichetti. At this point, any questions on the Q&A that we want to share?
So there's one interesting one that I have a feeling is probably in the backs of a lot of parents' minds, even though it's only been asked once, and that's about cell phones at the high school. So We do operate a little differently than the middle schools do with cell phones. So our students right now do have access to them as a way to access their classwork and everything. It's one of the devices that we would allow them to use if a teacher was letting them use devices under our bring your own device policy. But obviously, with the recent law and news, we're going to be taking a look at that for next year. The guidance was just released by the Department of Education, and that'll then go to our school board, and then we're going to work to make sure that we're following our school policy and doing what's best for students. But that's about the extent of what we can share right now in terms of our planning, unless you want to chime in with anything else, Mr. Varela.
I'm asking for patience. Dr. Bragan is discussing this. He mentioned that recently. He actually met with some middle school and high school students virtually, and that was one of the questions he posed. And I'm sure you could you can guess what their responses were, especially the middle schoolers. But great participation, 612, and what I'll say is more to come on that. So let's keep going with our presentation.
There's been a bunch of questions about the Summer Institute, so here you are. Perk up your ears, pay attention. If you were one of those question askers, I've been putting that we're going to answer it live, and here comes all the information.
So Manny, Yoshi, or Nancy, would you like to jump in and share a little bit about this?
Sure, I can. We have the dates here. They're basically the same dates as last year. If you have any current students, older siblings. The course booklet will be getting approved by our board soon, and we'll send that out, and it'll be posted on our website. Connected to our school website is a separate link to a Summer Institute website, and that Google site will give you all the information you want, that you need to know about our Summer Institute. So you can expect that, I would hope, within the next month. We're hoping for, February.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Just more of the same as far as where you can find the information. Be patient, and as soon as we have it, we will share it out with all of our parents. All right. So I think Doug is going to talk a little bit about our open house.
Yeah, I could. It's a great night. I think it's everything that you would think it would be. It could be as a la carte as you want, or it could be as comprehensive as you want. It's a active night for you if you want it to be. There's a lot of touring of the building. I think somebody asked about that in the Q&A about meeting or touring the building and meeting staff. So this is exactly what this is about. Touring the building, you could either walk around yourself or it can be student led with our peer leaders and our student counselor. You could probably meet all of us that are on the screen. We all will be there. SPS, which is our student personnel services, they'll be talking about high school requirements and athletics and clubs. The gyms will be open. Representatives from certain clubs and sports will be there to take any Q&A that you might have. So just as you see, it's a great open house night. I think it's June 3rd. Yep, I see it there.
Yep.
June 3rd at night. So we look forward to seeing you.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Just so parents are aware, we used to have a traditional type of approach, right? During the summer, we'd have a freshman orientation. Kids would come in, they'd get dropped off for a couple of hours. They'd go to the auditorium. I'm going to give Ms. Duco Sweeney credit because it was her idea to sort of break the mold and say, well, what else can we do to support kids, but also include parents? So we tried that out last year. We received a lot of positive feedback, and we are doing it again, and we'll improve upon what we did last year. So that's what we do at the high school. We're consistently and continuously trying to improve our practices. You never just rely on what, we've always done that. That's not the attitude at the high school. So we think that this is a really great experience. Mark down the date, put the time 6 o'clock, and we look forward to seeing everyone in person. Next, I'd like to transition.
Mr. Varela, can I interrupt a second before we
Sure.
get too far away? There's been a flurry of questions about Summer Institute, and some of them are very specific, so I don't want to answer them live right now. But a few that have been common, one, is it required for freshmen? Two, kind of what's the purpose? And three, if a student does take a class, do they automatically get credits with us at SBHS? So I wanted to turn that over to maybe Amy or one of the APs to try to talk about that for a moment.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so it's not mandatory. Some reviewers saying like, do the freshmen, do they have to take it? Absolutely not. Enjoy your summer. You can get all of your required credits and still take honors and AP in the 4 years of high school without ever taking a summer class. So it's not
Yeah.
mandatory.
And
It
let me
really
just,
depends on the
yeah,
kid.
and it's at a cost too, right? This
Yeah.
costs money. The families have to pay for this. So again, if you're looking to take a course, the booklet what, February, right? We'll publish it in February. It'll have all the information there. The parents, again, this is optional, completely optional. Some of the courses are for credit, some are not for credit. They have some courses that are applicable to freshmen, some that are not applicable to freshmen. So more information to come on that.
One question that does come up a lot, let's say your child takes a summer institute course going into freshman year. Um, it's really important to be there every time. There's a very strict attendance policy. It's very intense. And if you don't do very well, it still counts.
Yeah.
So some parents feel like, well, they weren't really in high school yet. Can we just get that off the transcript? We cannot. It will go on your transcript. So if you're a little thinking like this may not go well, maybe it's too difficult, or you start it and it's not for you, you can drop it, but we cannot remove it from the transcript if you don't do well. So just keep that in mind because it does every now and then come up.
Okay. Thank you. Want to
And
keep
Mr.
moving
Varela,
forward?
can I just add one more thing?
Yeah,
Because there was also a flurry of questions with the math and the Summer Institute.
sure,
I just
sure.
wanted to clarify that for Algebra 1 and Algebra 2, those courses must be taken in school full year because of their content and material that is needed in the math sequence. And this is for students to be successful, right? We're always thinking about students and what they need and their success. So those cannot be taken over the summer. For those parents inquiring about the geometry over the summer coming into freshman year, there are grade requirements for that Dr. Aparna already answered there, and there's also more information in our video for the incoming parents that explains this with the slides. And just a final note on all of that, I just wanted to mention that any pathway that you are on, you are going to meet the requirements for graduation and be successful in your math career in high school. As Mr. Varela mentioned before, don't look at anybody else, right? You are on your own path, and everyone on each path will be successful in their own way. So I don't want anyone to feel pressured. No one is behind when they're coming in. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to now pass it on to Ms. Marcella.
Okay, I'm going to briefly give a little bit of information with regard to one of our very important tools that we use with all of our students in the guidance office. Our School Links program is for career exploration, future planning, and of course, college planning, and is required for students during the college application process. I know we're talking about 8th grade students that are just going to be coming into the high school as freshmen in the fall. However, we do encourage our students with their families to start thinking about the future because class choices after freshman year and clubs and activities surely can impact what a student may be interested to do in their future. So all students, when they enter the high school, will have access to this School Links program. It's a really great tool. It's very user friendly. We've been using this platform for about 3 years now. The Some of the teachers in the 21st century skills classes, because there is a career exploration component to that curriculum, will utilize that function of school links. We encourage students to start utilizing the information on the resume builder. So all the clubs and activities and volunteering and athletics that they get involved with, we want them to keep track of that as early as possible, because that's just something that's really important for them to know, especially when they get to the college planning process. So this information about logging in will be available over the summer. We just wanted to make sure that you are all aware that this is a very valuable tool, and to, get the students going on it as early as possible. We want them to explore a lot of it on their own, but they will get some access to it in 21st century classes, and then of course with their counselors after they are in the high school.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Marcella. Our athletics program, strong, excellent program. Mr. Knapp just wanted to spend a couple of minutes on this topic.
Good evening. So as you can see, we offer 30 NJSIA regulated interscholastic sports. We currently have 2 clubs that are on the verge of becoming NJSIA, which if you go to spring, it's the cricket club, which we've had a terrific turnout in, and our girls flag football. Girls flag football will actually be out of the club level next year. It'll be a sanctioned sport, so we're very excited about that. In addition, our marching band, our dance team, our color guard and winter guard are also connected to our sports program, highly competitive and very successful. We strive to be competitive in everything that we do, and some of the levels you're going to see will have cuts. Some levels do not. It really depends on the sport. Some of the things that your student will need, looking at academic eligibility, a minimum of a 2.0 or higher GPA, which we never want to see the basement. We always want to see them pushing for the best. For eligibility for fall and winter, they need to carry 30 credits from the previous school year, all right, grades 10 through 12. Spring eligibility, 15 credits from the current year, which again, our coaches do an excellent job of making sure our student athletes are on top of their grades and making that a priority. You need a minimum GPA of a C minus, which again, we never want that to be the basement. All right, we're always pushing them to be higher. Academic integrity is the most important thing that we preach to all the kids that play sports here, and our coaches do as well. Requirements each season, so each year, a sports physical. Now, a sports physical is good for a calendar year. So once you have that, that's not something you have to do for each sport. What you will have to do if your student plays multiple sports in a school year is do a health history update form for each sport that they play. It's a little tedious, but in the long run, it's not that difficult. There is a pay to play fee of $100 per season, and that gets capped if you're a 3-sport athlete or if you have multiple students in the high school sports program. All of our interest forms our physical forms are all located through Genesis, which you can access through the school website. You can also find most of these through the athletics webpage through the school website. I won't go through all of it, but that gives you a step-by-step of where you need to go and where to get it. And if there's any ever question about anything related to sports physicals, forms, policies, please feel free to reach out to the athletic office, email me anytime.
Ed, can you just share again with parents as far as incoming freshmen, what's their eligibility requirement for a fall and winter season?
So automatically eligible unless there is a district, if there is an issue with a discipline problem, that would be the only thing that would prevent your son or daughter from participating as a freshman in fall sports. I will tell you this, that the first practice for football and girls tennis is August 10th, and then every other fall sport would begin August 17th if you're trying to plan vacations. But everyone coming out of middle school is eligible for fall sports.
Thank you.
And Mr.
Again,
Knapp,
here, yeah.
we have a lot of individual questions about specific sports. So could you just reiterate one more time, where's the best place to go to get information about
If you go
specific sports?
Yeah, I apologize. If you go to the high school website and then click on athletics, you'll see links to everything that you need, including contact information. There's a separate link to a alternate athletics page that goes a little bit more in depth, including team pages and our head coaching list. We're in the process of making sure everybody has that up to date. You can email me at any time. And then switching gears here, our platforms, we had to, the previous regimes was the big shoes to fill here. We have a new Twitter and Instagram. You can follow a lot of our athletics programs through that handle.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Morris, our activities director.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rella. As you can see, the slide kind of introduced myself and my partner, Ms. Olson. Can you go to the next slide, please?
Yes.
We can be found in the activities office, and we are everything club related. So there's about 60 clubs at the high school. Each club has their own webpage, which can be found underneath the activities tab on the school website. A couple of questions that have kind of come across are, are there cuts for clubs? Are there limits? And the clubs really vary. We do have some competitive clubs that have prerequisites because we are members of a local chapter, so we have to follow their rules. But the bulk of our clubs are open for everyone, and we really encourage the kids to advocate for for themselves and join that club fair in September. It's during all lunches, right outside of the freshman cafeteria. And you'll see this list here is the list of clubs that we are currently offering, as well as the honor society. So each one of these clubs has a link on the school website where you can find out about them and what their requirements are when they meet, who advisors are. And that's really the best way to find out about the clubs. Clubs meet Tuesday through Thursday from 2:30 to 4 after school, and there is a late bus for that. In terms of the types of clubs, we have official and unofficial. So one of the big questions we get is, how do I have this on my transcript? You have to meet the membership requirements, which is pay to participate. Right now, the fee is $35 per club. Then attending at least 50% of the meetings, and then anything else the club sets forward. So there was a couple of questions about volunteering hours. Some clubs are service oriented and they offer volunteer hours, and that's one of the requirements for their clubs, a minimum number. Some clubs are, the competitive type, and they have it where you have to attend a conference. So it's really important to kind of look at the list online and dig through what it has. Another big question that we get is student government. So we do have class councils for each grade. As Ms. Duco-Sweeney said earlier, we have 2 class advisors that will be with your kids for all 4 years, and they help plan the events for the class. We have freshman class council, and that information is shared when we come back in September, October by the class advisors in the lunches. So the lunches are, a place to eat, but also a place to get information. We're in and out. This week is Spirit Week, so we're doing little events in the lunches every day because we're looking to have kids be involved and create fun opportunity for them. So you can see here is school-wide events, which is some of the events we've hosted already this year. And this week we're gearing up for Winter Spirit Week and a pep rally on Friday. I'm trying to see. So really the big thing I would say with this is to take a look online. I've been putting in the links for the clubs, and the club fair is really the best way to go to find out about the clubs. And there will be tables at the freshman open house in June for each of the clubs as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Morris. When we share out this slideshow, we'll also have a link to all the department presentations. Our supervisors, our chairs, our staff members did a great job putting together informational videos that explains what each department offers, different pathways. It's really amazing, and they took their time. You can refer back to it. You don't have to sit and watch it in one session. That's another advantage of doing this virtually and recording it. You could go back from time to time and rewatch pieces of information that you maybe have missed. instead of doing it in person, and it's a one and done. So great stuff on this link.
Mr. Varela, can Miss Morris, can you just share one more time when should students be looking to get involved in clubs? How are they going to find out about all the options? What does that look like in the fall?
It would be the end of September during lunches. There will be tables set up inside the cafeteria and in that activities hallway right by the freshman cafeteria. And each club will have basically an open house where they talk about their clubs and what the purpose is and when they meet. And we tell the kids kind of shop around, get the information, and then see which clubs they are able to make it to and what fits best in their schedule. One question that normally comes up is I like 3 clubs that meet on Tuesday. So if all the clubs you like meet on Tuesday, then you will have to pick. But for the most part, they should be able to join multiple and be involved. And they can oftentimes be an athlete as well as a club member, depending on how the schedule works with the clubs they select.
Awesome. Any questions that are burning out there, Mr. Ruman?
There was that one. It's slowed down. We've got 155 answered questions right now. So we've been furiously typing away in the background, and I'll just remind everybody that we are going to work to take all of these and turn it into a physical FAQ that we'll be sharing out with tonight's recording and all the other information that we've shared.
That's awesome. So on this last slide, I'm not going to be able to ask each person on the leadership team to answer, but I'm going to call on you. I'm going to cold call, and I'm going to ask you to share some advice for our parents, our students, incoming ninth graders, or both. So one word, one phrase, one short sentence. So I want to see who's looking at me or who's ducking their eyes, so that I could call on them. So I'm going to start off. Ooh, Dr. Negerval looks like he has a good piece of advice.
I think my best piece of advice would be explore and use the time to your advantage to take some things and explore some avenues that you might not have thought about before.
Thank you. Ms. Baroud?
So I think my advice for your students would be to speak up when they need support, and to be kind to themselves and respectful to others.
Awesome. Mr. Harding?
Encourage your student to be an advocate themselves. Reach out to their teachers, reach out to staff members. There's tons of people in the building that are there to help you and support you through your journey of high school.
Awesome. Mr. Brack?
I would tell your students to find your people. So your people could be old friends that they went through elementary school with and family that's always been there, but there could always be new faces, teachers that see your potential, the administrators making it a point to say hi to you when they pass you in the hallway, coaches or advisors that encourage you. Find the people that want to help you succeed. And when you do that, you will thrive. So find your people.
Awesome. Thank you. Ms. Spencer?
I would echo what everyone else said. I think definitely asking questions, asking for advice, making sure that you get involved. There's so many things that you could do at the high school, whether it be club, athletics. There's so many other competitive programs that you can do, but definitely get involved and ask questions.
Awesome. I'm going to call on one more person, give her the last word. Ms. Sullivan.
Hi, I would say definitely like everyone else did to really get involved. There's so much to do, whether you're an athlete, you enjoy music, clubs. Once you find a club or something to get involved with, you really find a group of friends, and it just makes the place a better place to be. So just get involved. There's so much to do, and kids say that, oh, I don't know what I want to do. There's 60 different things. There's something for everyone, and somebody can, help you, guide you. There's teachers that can show you where all the postings are. You can go down to activities and talk to everyone there. But if you get involved, it makes the place a great place to be.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate our leadership team. So again, we want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. It's 7:45, so not bad, an hour and 15, 75 minutes. But again, we have great parents and students and faculty that we're so proud of. Our central office supports us 100%. We have a great Board of Education. And again, we always want to give a shout out to our K through 8 partners in our elementary and middle schools. They do a great job preparing your kids to enter high school and have great experiences. So we really are looking forward to seeing the class of 2030 enter our building, and we hope to see everyone in June when they come in for the freshman open house. And then, of course, we can't wait to open the doors and seeing your students and sons and daughters come into the high school and have great experiences in September. So, with that, I'd like to thank everyone. I want to wish everyone a great night, and we will see you soon. Go Vikings! We're going to wave off and end our presentation. Have a good night.